And the people shall have their way. Josh Fraser declares he wants to be the coach of Carlton and he prepares to pitch for the job that he has completely nailed.
What level of concern sits over Hawthorn after a complete systems failure that invites questions over their top 4 credentials?
And winning is good for the soul. Our players enjoyed drought-breaking victories and now size up a chance to take a scalp. Do you think when Josh Fraser goes to present before this panel, there should be an avenue of Carlton fans just chanting for him as he walks through the doors?
They should be in the theaterette, and he should do it in front of the fans.
Those scenes will last. They might run us all the way through to something like when Paul Roos Here It Is and how that started to... Those scenes from Sunday night will last.
I'll tell you when they won't last, if he doesn't get it.
Oh, well, yes.
So we will discuss it in great detail, but it is no great surprise that he is nominated, that he would like to go for the job, and now we suspect they go through that process.
It is.
I told you this would happen. This is the most disciplined show I've ever worked on because Jared makes me be serious. There's a fly in here, everyone. So there it is, Jared. Oh, it's on your back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through. Righto, come on, straighten up. Let's go.
There is some serious components to
If I
this.
whack you on the head...
At least I'll know. We're here for your insurance made for fans. Harry Sheezel, Touk Miller, Ray Chamberlain return to the field officiating. We've been right through his tape.
Don't worry, I watched it too, live.
Every bit of it. And it's a big news night, so the midweek tackle led by Lauren Woods. Top of the agenda is the developments that Blues fans have been chanting for. Josh Fraser does indeed want to be Carlton's next permanent coach. He could be before the club's selection panel as soon as tomorrow. It's a chain of events set off, and when Chris Davies spoke to you 2 weeks ago and said we want him to put his hand up.
Yeah, this is such an unbelievable situation that we find ourselves in because the whole footy world now is just saying, well, it'll be the shortest interview of all time. You'll walk in, they say, do you want it? He goes, yep. They go, right, let's get the announcement. Whereas he's entitled to go in and put down... I'm sure he's been so busy in the interim role that there's plenty of things that he perhaps hasn't been able to present in a formal manner. I mean, his philosophies have been there for the whole footy world to see, and that's the great thing, that we got the insight and he got to go and put it on display in real time. So we know he can coach, we know he can coach a game plan and then get the players to execute, which is a great challenge. But now, you know, Carlton on a hiding to nothing because they can't... How are they going to come to a conclusion other than Josh Fraser when everyone else is saying, well, here's the answer? But I think he'll go in and he'll do a fantastic job. And, look, maybe they'll walk away going, gee, we knew he had a beauty. We've got an even better one.
So can I just make a suggestion? In his PowerPoint presentation, it should include the Fraser ladder. This is how he's gone. Second only on percentage to Fremantle at 10 and 2.
Yeah, so... You look at that and, you know, you go to the game. All these blokes who are going to sit in judgment have all been at the games. They see the groundswell. They see what's happening on field. They see what's happening off field. More than that, they've seen how he has been able to maintain this authority and a cool, calm, level head, not get carried away and handle himself in the most dignified manner. So footy, off field, on field, and then the person that you want to run and be at the front man of your footy club hasn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's just exciting. So just war game this theoretically with me. Fraser presents tomorrow. That completes the process. A couple of days for those in charge to make their decision. Carlton plays on Sunday. Should they beat the Bulldogs, the wildcard position is secure. You roll out Josh on Monday or Tuesday and then start preparing for Collingwood in front of 98,000 people in the inaugural wildcard game on a Friday night. Like, that is deliverance that you could barely script the theatre of.
Exactly. And I don't think anyone could deny that that would be a magnificent introduction to him as the formal coach of the Carlton Football Club. We'd love to have him in here and have a chat with him before that as he builds into that final series. And then, Jared, nothing's off the table. I mean, that form ladder says if that is how it all unfolds, and maybe we're not getting ahead of ourselves, nothing's off the table. And that's not, I know the Carlton fans can get carried away, as we all can, but this is us being removed, dispassionate, having watched what's happened. And they are in ripping form, ripping nick, and, the players who have been perhaps on the precipice of being moved on, have found a yard. And one of those, I think, had some great news today as well in a contract extension.
So Mitch McGovern's going to go 1 year at a time. He didn't meet his trigger the previous year, and Carlton took its time to work out. They've switched him forward. He's leading their goal kicking at the moment. He has been wholehearted in the way that he's presented in that forward line throughout, and now he's going to roll on into his 30s on 1 year contract.
Best goal return in his whole career, Jared, and he's still got games to play in the home and away season. But more than that, again, watching it live on the weekend, it was his intent that caught my eye as much as anything else. It was his work rate and it was his diligence, along with Harry and the others, to get to work. So that's another great tick for Josh Fraser and the footy club, and a tick for him. I mean, he's been maligned at times, Mitch, which is, you've got to wear that when you can be up and down, but he hasn't put a foot wrong either in the last 6 weeks. And he's a really important part of what they're doing because he's gone forward. They'll get Jacob Wiedering back, so that'll shore up the back half with Harry, and Dirksen maintains his spot. So, there's just positive news everywhere for the Blue Baggers.
All right, that's the joyful side of footy. The other side of it, the AFL is tonight awaiting the delivery of Geelong's submission in reply to the please explain as to why Jake Kolodjasny's concussion waiver was never lodged.
There's no doubt that that's a misstep on our behalf.
This is not a misstep. This is incredibly experienced people, not only in corporate world, but AFL world. So it's either gross incompetence or a deceitful act to get around or circumnavigate a standard playing contract.
They've deliberately done what they've done. They've deliberately hit it. The board would have known everything. The CEO would have known, and they have tried to hide it. They're in trouble. There's no doubt about it. It's just how much trouble the AFL want to put them in.
I think the club and the AFL have got themselves in a bit of a bind because they'll seem to be deceptive. It's failed the pub test, has it?
We'll give you the contract, we'll work it out. And that's how they worked it out. In the end, they said, we'll work it out, you can keep playing, but you take responsibility and you take all the risk. That's no good. That's why we're up in arms, Jared.
His circumstances have changed, quite significantly. Didn't see him at the club today, but the club is putting a lot of support around him. He's in a holding pattern waiting to see what happens to his career beyond here.
Throughout this whole process of the last 5 days, transparency is the key. In this day and age, if you try and hide information or mislead the public, I think you're going to look embarrassed.
What is Craig Drummond's capacity to sit in judgment of other clubs in the next period of time? It's zero. There is a public faith here that is at stake. And there is the chairman of the commission who's going to stand there on Brownlow night and stand there at the Hall of Fame. That person can't be a diminished figure.
No. And this is going to cost the AFL hundreds of millions, I reckon, because I suspect this litigation in court, no one knows quite how that's going to play out. But the player still has to accept the responsibility that I'm doing a sport that is dangerous. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it is a tough and dangerous sport.
I think when we get to the other side of this, I think this will be seen as a catalyst for the next evolution of the way the AFL is going to handle it, the expectations on the clubs, and the role that the players' autonomy and agency has in that decision as well.
Events are coming towards a climax, but there is a toll along the way. Geelong has released a statement tonight saying that Jake Kolodjasny will be unavailable for selection at AFL or VFL level this weekend. The care and well-being of Jake remains the club's priority, and the club will continue to support him and his family through this period. So Nathan Buckley gave us a slight insight into that last night, and that's the flow-on effect. The AFL confirmed late today that it has engaged a King's Counsel, an independent lawyer, to accept Geelong's submission and to sit in judgment of it, creating a separation from the AFL executive and from the staff, from the commission, and it is nothing more than is appropriate, as calls were mounted during the day for this sort of independence.
I think it needs an independent assessment, and for a couple of things. One, we need to understand what's happened here, and two, the noise around this is not going to stop unless it is investigated separately.
So I think for everyone's sake now, we need a completely independent inquiry held into this. The AFL can't be judge and jury here. That's not sustainable, and no one's going to. Well, very few will take that as being a genuine search and seek mission on this.
So typically Geelong's defence tonight, Gaz, would go to the league's senior legal counsel, but at the very least that department has been involved in correspondence along the way with Geelong in the formation of the waiver. So it will go directly to Andrew Dillon and to the King's Counsel, who's been retained by the league to contemplate it. So the voluntary assumption of risk was never lodged, as has been well documented, and the independent lawyer will now determine the level of Geelong's breach under the AFL rules, and it does avoid AFL staff sitting in judgment of either their own actions or their colleagues along the way, and that separation, the AFL executive couldn't sit in judgment of the AFL chair. It will still all end up in front of the commission where the chairman has recused himself, but this step of independence was both necessary and appropriate, and I hope it also comes with the capacity to further investigate. So once the document is in front of this independent lawyer, should he or she seek further interviews, further clarity, further circumstantial evidence, I hope they have the power to go and do that before delivering their findings to the commission.
Yeah, and look, this, I don't want to use the word complex because that was thrown up early, but this is a whole difficult scenario that we're dealing with, and you rightly pointed this out yesterday that this was the way forward, and to the credit of the AFL and others that they've now put this in place. He does need the total power and autonomy to go, he or she, wherever they need to go, and that's all. We're not barracking for anyone to lose their job. I'm not anyway. I don't think you are. What we want is to sit down and methodically go through it and come to a conclusion. Now, there may be some casualties along the way, and if that's the case, then so be it. We can't hide these things because I think there's been an element of that in years gone by, and which hasn't led to the greatest result. So I think this is great. That person, that King's Counsel, he or she's got an enormous job, an enormous responsibility. And then we sit back and put our faith and trust in the process. So, and that wouldn't have been the case if the independent body hadn't been introduced.
So now if individuals are cleared, we can have faith in the process. The independent King's Counsel has assessed all that's in front of them, and this will make sure that the individuals aren't diminished if they continue on.
And that person will be a hell of a lot smarter. I'm talking about me and our audience that I listen to. I know, but you've got a greater capacity. I want that person to now go to work and plough through everything on my behalf because I've got a headache having done it for the last couple of weeks, and I want to get and talk about footy. But now I can be confident enough to go, OK, this is in the hands of those that have got a much greater capacity to deal with it than I or most of us in the media have, and now we sit back and wait for the result.
The other element today, Lauren Wood wrote the story that Alan Pearce, the associate professor who is a concussion expert, has put forth that the amber setting from the AFL concussion panel needs to be abolished. That when a player comes forth, they are either medically retired or cleared to play. And the ambiguity that was created in the Jake Kolodjasny case because of, it's not indecision, it's just putting it back on the player, as we can't give you green or red.
Yeah.
It really should be black and white, is his contention.
Yeah, and we all want everything to be black and white in this world, but this is a difficult one as well. There's some nuance involved here now.
Because players will be retired who wouldn't necessarily need to be retired under this setup.
And Jake in himself, if he had been retired, without the benefit of hindsight, we've seen him play on for another 3 years. So this is the level of nuance and difficulty that they've got to deal with. And this panel, as you've pointed out to me, they're not full-time. This is a voluntary panel who are making decisions on the careers of players who, this is the most important thing in your life. This is your footy career. And now you've got to take into account, brain injury and concussion, which we should, and we're getting much better educated about it. But then it puts enormous pressure on both club and player when you go to the independent expert panel and they come back and go, can't help you. No, it's not really great, but we're not going to, we aren't quite prepared. So then the club go, well, now where are we? And this is what leads to this situation. Yeah. We've got the player who desperately wants to play. Our duty is to have care and empathy and show compassion. But we also, recognise that this is a career here. But then there's this legal... So I understand all of that. And in the middle of it is the panel who have already retired a whole host of players and have said yes and no to others, and in this instance went, not sure. And then Jake says, he says that's green light for me because I want to play footy. That's my life. And they're in the most vulnerable position of all. And then you've got the club on the other hand going, well, we'll try and help you, but we're a bit hamstrung. We're a little bit worried about where it's going to lead us. So we find ourselves in this situation.
So there's the short term and then what the future looks like on this front. To the footy. So last night we rejoiced in the winning of round 22. The losing was pretty significant in the round as well, and that has all been put into the furnace.
Well, if you look at what it is, we haven't been good enough to get it done. And that sits with me.
We saw it as an opportunity to compete against the best, and we weren't up to it tonight.
As much as your favourites on paper, based on ladder position, it can belie what's actually in front of you. Internally, we know what our weaknesses are and where we need to improve, but we've been very, very competitive.
I think we're better than that. I think we can execute better than that and play to a high level, and we're going to need to.
A disappointing one because there was something at stake tonight, you know, around at least being certainties to play one more game. I hate losing. It's a winning business, but it is what it is.
There's a part of me that says we just weren't good enough tonight. But if we play them again, is that guaranteed that result again? Absolutely not.
There can't be any excuses for the week before because, it was a Perth game. We came back 6 days. They were 5 days out from Launceston, so cry me a river.
We'll lick our wounds, we'll learn our lessons, and we'll be back.
Leaders shepherd, protect and nurture and challenge their people under pressure, and that's my job, and I'll continue to do it until I'm either tapped or I tap myself.
So play a little bit of real or overreaction on three clubs here. The Hawks are better than that.
Yeah, no, that is real. I like the way Sam Mitchell handled this. And in the back of his mind, he's got Chris Fagan, who went through this 7 days earlier. You don't knee-jerk react on the back of it. But this is a bad loss for him, Jared. You go a little bit deeper and, you know, we're on a bit of a watch, or I'm on a watch for Hawthorn. So it's their lowest score of the year, lowest losing score of the year. They haven't done that for a year and a half. 58 points is a really poor result, and they conceded their equal highest score, 125 points, which they did against Melbourne not so long ago. So then you look at their results. Since round 9, they've lost to Brisbane 4th, Melbourne twice, who are 6th on the ladder. They lost to the Dogs 9th and the Dockers 1st, and they've beaten the Crows 5th, which is a good win. 11th, 14th, 12th, 10th, Carlton, good win. 17th, 18th, 13th. They're the wins. And then you look at that game, and so Marby Chol has 3 touches and no impact. So, the Wizard, I'm not worried about. They're more worried about Marby than Wizard. He'll bounce back. Lewis ended up on a wing, didn't score at all. Ginnivan didn't score at all. Barras had 3 touches and played on Logan Morris, which was a really poor matchup. I thought Chris Fagan out-coached Sam on the way that they set up. So Connor McConnor goes to Impey, who's been outstanding and has a really, marked impact on him as well. So Brass ends up with 3 touches. So of course Sam's going to look at all of that and go, no, we're much better than that. He'll put faith in his group. So when Gunston and Watson don't have the massive impact, can Lewis and Chol take you to the promised land? And that's the question mark for me. I don't know, maybe it might have been injured, but that was just an inconsequential performance by him. So, they deserve the right to go, no, that's not us, but we want to see what is them pretty quickly because they've fallen to the teams that are competitive since round 9. Melbourne twice, Brisbane, the Dogs, and then the Dockers got a hold of them as well. So, interesting times.
Connor Nash won't be back. He's headed for surgery. His season is over. It's the same failure every year for the Dogs. They're stuck in the same mash-up 7 through 10.
Yeah, well, results suggest that's real. Yeah, when you have a look at it, where they are and haven't been able to get them... Well, they never really got themselves into the top couple anyway, even through their most successful period, but they are back to where, they've been for a long period of time. And I know Western Bulldogs fans are getting a bit frustrated with all this as well. Mitigating circumstances, what did he say? Cry me a river, Bevo. So he's a realist. He knows that, this is going to put the heat and bring the heat. It's a while back to that premiership time and, they've got a better... Well, some would suggest a much better list than maybe is the reality, but you can't afford to be losing Sam Darcy when you're having results like that. So, no, that's real. And, they're still alive and he'll be preaching that because he's the eternal optimist. But I think it's a disappointing finish so far. 2 weeks still to go.
And the Saints, the heat is coming for Ross, real or overreaction?
Yeah, I think the heat's coming for Ross. I think the heat's coming for all of our Clarko and Bevo, so premiership coaches, 2 of them. Rossi not that far away from a premiership coach. But then you've got King and Fraser and this young group of coaches coming through and having some pretty immediate success. And these men are coaching into the last year of their contract. So, yeah, I think that's real. Ross knows that better than anyone. You can tell that. He wants a clear run at it. You know, he's got players that are missing from the weekend and then lost players during the game. But, no, that's not going to placate the St Kilda fans, and nor should it. I mean, they have high expectations, as do the Bulldogs and as do the Kangaroos, and they've got highly credentialed men in charge of their clubs, and they will know that the heat is coming for them and it's going to be a big summer. There's unfinished business for the Western Bulldogs, and the Saints have much more of an outside chance, and the Kangas have got the capacity, and there's a game coming up which we'll talk about with Harry when he gets there, which is, I think, massive. So, no, that's real and that's good. I reckon it's great. We'll see the best of Lyon, Clarkson and Beveridge when the heat comes on.
All right, one other element before our players join us, and that's Jack Viney, who it's looked pretty grim at various stages during the season. He is going to play his first game of senior football. He'll play it in the VFL and give himself some sort of fluker's hope at the end. Here was Stephen King today.
He's been full training now for nearly a month. He'll play VFL this week, which is great. So finally get a game into him. We had to create a session for him on the weekend with a bye, but yeah, he'll play, which would be great. So get him to tick that box first and foremost, and then see how he recovers and how he pulls up. And he's obviously chomping at the bit, vice captain of our footy club and an ultimate competitor and the type of player you want to run out with. So we've got to make sure that we do what's right for Jack and right for the footy club and make sure he ticks a few boxes. But then if he can get through that game, then, you know, he'll put his name up in lights and make himself available, and we'll see what happens from there.
What's your hope for Jack Viney?
He's the ultimate honesty keeper, Jared. Stephen, this is perfect for Stephen King. He couldn't have dreamed this up any better. He gets their most competitive player breathing down the neck of a side who are inside. There's no complacency coming into this side from now until whenever their season ends, because this bloke here, all he will be thinking about is playing finals footy, Jared. That's what he's thinking about. So if you're in there, you've got this bloke breathing down your neck at training. He's got this bloke breathing down your neck in the gym. He's got this bloke breathing down your neck when you may or may not want to do that extra little bit of training. You go, no, I'm doing it, because Jack Viney's ready to take his spot. So this is perfect for him. There's no downside to this. The worst case scenario is he keeps everyone honest to the point where that whole environment is just ready to go. And the best case is there's an opening and Jack gets back and cracks his way into a finals team. So, no, he's the honesty keeper from this point forward. And for Stephen King, perfect.
There's a good seat filler if injury strikes in an untimely fashion. Our players are about to join us off the back of wins. Harry Sheezel, as the Kangas broke their losing streak. It was longer for the Suns. We promised when they won, Touk Miller would rejoin us. That happens next. Welcome back to the winner's circle. It can feel like there's a lot of doom and gloom around in footy at times, but not in this segment. A breakthrough weekend for our pair of players. The Kangaroos ended a 5-game losing streak and took a team above them down, while Gold Coast ended the horror 10-week stretch that they have endured. It was a slog, but it was a thriller any which way to get the 4 points. Harry Sheezel's with us in the studio. Harry, welcome back.
Thanks, Jared.
Touk's taken us through some of the grim times that only felt right. Touk, welcome back to winning.
Thanks, guys. Nice to be back in the winner's circle, I won't lie.
Is winning good for the soul?
No, it definitely is. Mate, I think you could see even some of the emotion after the game. Like, it was weird, you know. It feels like we're not playing for anything, but we're playing for so much. Blokes like Rowley and Noah and a lot of our leaders, mate. It meant a hell of a lot. Definitely made that trip back from Canberra a hell of a lot better afterwards.
There's a symbolism in all of this too, Touk, because you got to Canberra and just started hosing down. It was about 6 degrees. So it was like, look, if you're going to win, you're going to have to earn every bit of it. So it looked like it was hard work.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Canberra absolutely turned it on for us. I think the day before it was -4 in the morning, and then the next day sleek rain and pretty cold. But I think we had the right attitude to go into that game, and it was nice to win pretty gritty, even though, like we've said, it wasn't very pretty.
Did that mean a bit on Thursday night, Harry, to get that win?
Yeah, it meant a lot. Similar to Touk, like just a lot of relief. Been 5 weeks in a row without a win, and we were pretty close. Like we were playing some decent footy, just not good enough. And to get the 4 points against the Dogs on a big Thursday night game for us was massive. And yeah, the few days after were quite nice to enjoy it.
So what was he like, Clarko, in the build-up? It was a big build-up because Thursday night's a big television night, of course, and your club wants as much exposure. Was he a little different in the build-up, or did he say, no, let's just keep things a bit the same here?
No, he wasn't too different. We had a 5-day break off the back of the Hawthorn game, so it was probably a blessing in hindsight, like just to focus on the Dogs game really quickly and put that other game behind us. And Clarko was great. He had a really clear focus going to the game, just how we can, as a group, just connect a bit better, do the little things to support each other and really bring that camaraderie. And I think we really felt that on the weekend. That was a big focus. It was really clear. We weren't focused too much on the game plan sort of things. It was more just bringing that connection and energy amongst the group, and I think we did that really well, and it came out in the way we played.
Yeah, and these scenes in the aftermath, so they were excellent. Yeah. Just give us the feel that once it's done.
Oh, it's the best feeling in footy after a good win, singing the song, and the rooms were pumping, so many people in there, family, friends, and it's probably the best time of the week when you just have that relief and satisfaction. It had been a tough 5 weeks before that, to get the reward was special.
Yeah, for both of you, you get a win like that and you look at the fixture and you've got 2 weeks to go, and that sort of makes you say, well, we want to bottle it, now we want to go with it. And Touk, for you, there's some familiarity about the game in as much that, we come to expect you to win last year and you get yourselves through to a final and you do it on the back of an all-round team performance, and the midfield was the key part of it, and you've been outstanding in your own form the last 8 or 10 weeks. But Matt Rowell was back doing what Brownlow medalist Matt Rowell did for most of last year. So it gave us a reminder of just how good it can be when you get it right. Yeah, definitely.
I guess I've probably tried to touch on that the last few times I've spoken, that we definitely have the cattle in the right group. We haven't been able to quite bring it together. But I think Rowley is a perfect example, especially for younger players in our younger group. He's been putting in a lot of work this year. Like, he's been injured, he's had a few ups and downs, but his last block of about 4 to 5 weeks, this game was coming. Like, he was in his ultimate conditions, like when it's wet and raining, and he just gets to front up and bash and crash and do his thing. I saw no reason why he couldn't perform the way he did on the weekend. It comes off the back of his consistent work. He does everything Monday to Friday to make sure he performs on the weekend. And I was so happy that he was able to deliver with a game like that in the weekend. It was pretty special to be a part of.
So there's a lot to be assessed in the aftermath. How much can be put down to the best players, of which you're part of it, just haven't had the seasons that they had last year?
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about countless times that it's on us leaders to drive this club forward, and I don't think that it's not just on us to perform at the top level. We need the whole entire team, but it is an expectation that you deliver on your part, and I think that we've probably missed the mark in that from some key players, including myself, and I think that's showing on the ladder and the win-loss. But in saying that, I think in the last 10 weeks we've had it pretty hard, and it's our leaders who have been able to stand up and keep the club together and make sure that our connection is super strong and that we don't stray from the path in terms of our process and what we want to get going forward from an identity point of view. So, it's been difficult, and I definitely think I hold myself accountable and the leaders accountable that we haven't been able to hold our end of the bargain for most of the season. But going forward, we're definitely looking to rectify that.
So important continuity. So for you guys, George Wardlaw's Matty Rowell in the making, if you like. And credit to you, we'll talk about your form in a moment. It's just been off the charts all year. And to do that week in, week out is just so commendable. And George just needs a run at it. But big stage Thursday night, all the eyes are on it, and we looked at it and went, wow. You get George back every week, yourself and LDU and Finn and the rest of them through the middle. That's why Kanga supporters can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I would imagine he is very much in the Matt Rowell category, this fella.
He is. He's so inspiring. Like, he played 55% game time, but it felt like he was out there in every single contest on the ground. And I think we spoke about it this week. He won our player award that we vote every week. and it's infectious what he brings to the rest of the group, and it makes you want to do it yourself. And I think we had our most defensive team max for the season, and I think he's a massive part of that, not just for what he does, but how he can inspire others to do the same.
I'm a bit mesmerised watching all this again. You just want to sit back and watch it. And yeah, so from a physical point of view, I'd imagine he's one of those players who's going to have to be pretty careful. I mean, you can probably roll along. You haven't missed hardly at all, but I mean, you get it all right. It's so encouraging. Your own form's been brilliant. It's almost famous, Touk. We used to talk about you as the hardest working player in the competition. Everyone we used to talk to, your name would always get thrown up. And the conversation now changes to, who's the best preparer? You still get mentioned, Touk. But your name, Harry, comes up repeatedly in all of this. And it's enabled you to be at a level that is elite for someone so young. 2 best and fairest already?
Yeah. In
such a short period of time. I mean, give us a bit of an insight into that, into what that means.
Yeah, Touk is the same as someone I've modelled a lot and heard stories about, and just the way he works during the week. But then on game day, you see it come out. And I think as I've gotten a bit older, and I've always been pretty curious and try and learn off other players, and I don't think success leaves any clues. Success does leave clues, sorry. So I just try and learn from other players and add things to my week, trial and error. And yeah, I think it's just the way I'm wired. I just want to always learn, always improve, get the most out of myself, and I know that if I'm doing that during the week, that it gives me the best chance to perform on game day. And I think for our group, it's about learning those things and trying to help each other through that process and inspire each other. And and game day it can come out.
You're on track to win the most disposals in North Melbourne history.
Breaking his own record.
Oh, you hold that record. Does he hold
Said
that
it
record?
last year. He'll break it this year.
Disappointing. I was going to build that up. So how do you measure? You can find the footy for fun, obviously. So what is the measurement for you at the end of a game in terms of what's important to you to say, yeah, I've ticked the box?
There's a lot of things in a game that I'm trying to do. I try and have clear focuses going into a game, so usually I judge myself based on that. And for me, it's overall impact on a game, both offensively, defensively. I think that's been a massive focus for me this year, especially on the year playing majority midfield, playing in a more defensive role, and how I can help set us up defensively, but then on the way back help our transition game and be a real corridor presence for our team and help us transition. And then the last few weeks probably spending a bit more time half forward and how I can impact forward of the ball and still hold good positioning and help other players flourish as well.
Touk, what have you zeroed in on over the past month? You're the number 13 ranked player since round 19 across the AFL. Did you pick certain focuses to really get going late?
Look, for me, it's pretty simple. I just double down on whatever the team needs. And, my roles changed over the last 4 weeks, actually. I've had time in the midfield, I've had time at half forward, I've done a tagging role. So I'm a little bit like Harry. It's all about, how can I help the team from a contest and defence point of view? And I think that it's how you set yourself up from Monday to Friday. I'm really diligent in how I prepare, and, it's all about being consistent. The more consistent you can be, I think you get consistent results on the weekend. So, look, the team's been in a bit of strife in terms of trying to find a win, and I'm trying to do everything possible to make sure that we get the result on the weekend, and hopefully, being a leader, I can pave the way for the boys that are out on the ground with me, especially with the younger crew that we've got. I think that's just part of the role of being a senior player at a club is you've got to set the standard, and I try to do my best in that.
Let's just have a look at the players who have recommitted over the past 12 months, Harry, and this tells a story. There are all sorts of possibilities coming in the short term with Tasmania coming in, but is this the picture of players who have bought into the vision of North Melbourne and your generation searching to bring them back?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's exciting because, everyone's bought into what we're trying to build at the club, and I think Clarko's played a massive role in that since he's come in, and with Todd Viney and other key leaders at our club, he's building that stability and the foundation for what's to come. I think you saw on the weekend kind of the potential of our group and what it can look like. And ultimately, we have a really great culture at the club, and we all really get along well off field, but I think on field is where we really need to grow, and we've put a lot of work into that, and that's the next phase for our group. So it's great to see everyone committing and wanting to be a part of it, and then now it's about that on-field success.
Did you win against Geelong set you up? I don't know if there's any chance that you can make the wild card. Haven't looked at that. You may have. I think Nick Larkey's been on the predictor. I saw he's talking about that. But gee, I think it's perfect. Saturday afternoon against a side that are going to compete for the premiership again.
100%. That Geelong are the benchmark, and they have been for so long. And we might not be able to make wild card, but you can still get so much out of these last 2 games. Sydney Swans are another unbelievable outfit that have done it for so long. So, we had a great game on Thursday night, but especially the last few years after good wins, we haven't been able to back it up. So it's a real challenge for us this week and a real focus to be able to go again and end the season on a high so we can take it going into the off-season and next year.
And you haven't played final. You're not going to play finals this year, Touk, but beating Brisbane would be a nice way just to put a full stop to what's been a bit of a disappointing year.
I definitely think so. We're a little bit the same though. You know, we don't want to rest on our laurels for the one win. You know, we've been working really hard over this last little period to make sure that our process is right. And I guess there's nothing better than versing the best. So Brisbane's in fantastic form. They obviously have the wood over us in terms of win-loss for the Q Clash. So I'd love nothing more than to just not to win up there on their home deck and find a way for us to really go into a positive off season.
As we let you go, we've had a lot of feedback on a number of different things throughout my time. But your laundry basket, the last time you framed yourself a bit tighter this year. You're not in the laundry. You got yourself out of the laundry or not?
Yeah, no, dude. Geez, I couldn't believe you picked that up too. It was sitting just over the back corner.
Very nice. And Harry, the doubleheader for North Melbourne and Geelong. So we saw the success of that on Sunday, and we're going to see it again on Saturday. Yeah,
it's exciting. The girls were in today training and speaking to a few of them. They were asking for some tips on how to play at Marvel and if it's any different. So, they're really excited and, I'm sure they're going to continue the streak.
Good on you, boys.
Great to have you both with us.
Good to see
Harry,
you.
thank you. Touk, good luck in the Q Clash.
Nice, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Touk Miller and Harry Sheezel with us on Players Night. Razor was part of that AFLW season opener. We've gone through the tape. We've got feedback. We're going to hand out some gold stars tonight as well. I wonder if Razor gets one for his return to umpiring on Sunday. It's one thing to talk the talk, but you still got to be prepared to walk the walk. He does it at charity days, and the chance to umpire in the first AFLW Spuds game was irresistible to our man Ray Chamberlain. Shape, form, decision-making, top class as always. We searched desperately for something we couldn't find it in.
Walk the walk's right. when I was watching.
Ray Chamberlain, welcome back.
Very good to be here. And Gary's right. I didn't get out of a canter too much. It was.
You've been smart.
Yeah, well, that's right. You can't buy experience. You can't buy experience.
He played the angles beautifully. He did. He played the angles. It was great to see you out there, Razor.
How'd you find it?
It was great, actually. I really enjoyed it. The players were unreal. Like, they were very welcoming. You know, because often you sort of. You're stepping into their environment. And what is real, like when you're umpiring, the role of the umpire is actually to serve the game, and by extension, you're serving the players. And you just don't want to make a blue or do something that's really poor. And the other part was I didn't want to give Gary any more fodder than he needs to come in here. So you're a little bit anxious, I don't want to stink it up.
You weren't anxious. Although your socks, what was your sock selection there?
Oh,
you forget your socks.
So as much as you think things stay the same, things do change. I lob in and they hand you your kit, and not only are they short, they're made out of a very flimsy material, Gary. I wasn't happy. I gave some feedback.
Or did you think your legs had shrunk a bit?
Got longer. They've gotten longer.
Oh, yeah, longer. Yeah.
So you've got the double head. You're going to do the North Melbourne Geelong game?
Yeah, and so really rapt to be able to obviously survive that game and, at a great stadium. That was the other thing, you by the end of the game and everyone's piling in for the next game, there's a lot of people there. There's the W bolt-ons that love it, and then you get the rest of the people there, and there's a bit of noise and
feedback.
Oh, plenty of feedback, but you go, geez, I'm quite envious of those that get to continue to do this in front of big crowds, at this time of the year.
You sure we can't get you back? There was some head scratches across the weekend. I know it's hard to explain the unexplainable, but can we just run a couple past you? Because we need explanations on them. What happened with the Sherry off the ball 50-minute penalty goal?
Yeah, so with this off the ball one, I mean, obviously they've labbed it up, and you can see here, the umpire's not looking in the direction of where the contact happens. So I think, you know, if I just take the umpire out of it and I look at the vision, Cherry does step off his line and check Karmas, which he's not permitted to do. If Karmas just ran into him, Cherry doesn't have to evaporate. He doesn't have to get out of his road. He doesn't have to do any of those things. But he's not allowed to step off his line and find contact. But obviously the vision does show that that umpire, I don't think, could possibly have seen that. One of the things I was thinking about actually after being out on the ground again, and you get that experience again where you get one look, one chance, and if you don't move quick enough or a player goes in front of you, what that can mean. And it's very difficult when your job is to be decisionally getting it right, to be able to be humble enough to go, I haven't seen that, I might have to leave one out here. But I'm not prepared to guess.
Yeah.
Because you can't defend it if you get it wrong. You can't defend it if you guess. So, yeah, in this instance here, just for everyone at home, Cherry's not allowed to step off his line.
Wasn't that much.
No, it's not, but he does step off his line,
Not
right?
much.
He steps off his
Not
line.
much.
You can't do it. Can't do it.
When the player's got a ball and he's running with the footy, and in your own mind you're going, oh, he's 5, 10. Are you counting steps like the rest of us, or what? For me, I counted this on the night. I think there's 16 and a half.
Yeah,
of Big Jake the Snakes.
So how have you guys seen the lad? Do you know how far he runs?
No, I haven't.
Do you want to have a guess?
Oh, well, I don't know, 20?
You're allowed to run 15.
26.
31.
So the way I don't count steps, right? You've got a million and one other things going on in your head, but landmarks are really helpful.
Yeah.
So, you know the length of the square is 50 metres. You know that between the goals is essentially, it's 9.8 metres between the posts. So there's things out there that give you a reference. And I don't think anyone's going to blow up if a player runs 19 metres and you don't blow it. But when they get to 30, I think we've taken the PI55 and we're expecting the whistle to
Unless you're kicking in from full back, then you can do what you want.
Well, and that's a perfect example where you have landmarks. And so, again, they shouldn't get beyond that mark.
All right, the out-of-zone umpires. I want to put forward a theory here.
It's disgraceful.
The capacity to overrule or support should be like a pen licence. You have to earn it and then you can get it revoked. I want to revoke the pen licence of the umpire who stepped in from out of zone on the Cozzy Pickett incident. The MRO thankfully fined Pickett.
Yeah.
But you cannot be from out of zone calling this high.
No, so we're going to see here it's a stoppage situation. So you'll have 3 umpires, which the guys have labbed up and we'll have a look at. There's one at the top of the screen as well. So the umpire who's down here highlighted awards the free kick. Now, what I want to talk about here is what I would call situational awareness. So this isn't a problem of system. And if we can run it back again, it'd be great. We're set up exactly where we're meant to set up as umpires. But if you're that umpire who is the support umpire outside play, you need to be locked in your head going, what is my role here? So what is my role? So know your role, honour your role, and then do your role. So you're looking for ball to boundary and a throw that the other umpires can't see. You're looking for a big flag of the jumper. You're looking for ball to boundary, high contact. But if that ball or the player's head in the other direction, like is the case here, you stay out of it.
Yes.
So it's a concentration thing and a situational awareness thing. And what I've been observing with some of these support, and I'm going to hammer you on that, it's not overrule, and I know you guys outside of umpiring like to call it that. I don't want you to be facetious because it doesn't help, right? It doesn't help resolve this. It's support. But for me, it's this clear lack of situational awareness and really acutely understanding what is my role right now. And so that's when concentration goes and a player throws themselves and all of a sudden you've blown your whistle. That's not for them to jump in. There were 2 other umpires whose job that was.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to explain. That's to stick your nose in where it's not wanted. That's what that is.
Yeah, and you can call it that. But when you're
can't
working,
justify that, are you? You're not
an error, no. But what I'm trying to say to you is that
there's a bloke 4 metres away. Your mate, your umpiring mate, you know there's 4 of them, you know the bloke's 4 metres away. What compels him? It's just reflex, is it?
I don't know whether you listened to the last 3 minutes, but what I was trying to articulate to you was that it's a lack of concentration and awareness of what's my job now.
You reckon it's that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And it's poor.
You're not. Yeah. It's not button your nose in where it's not wanted?
No, not at all.
Yeah. This has been bad practice all year, I think. I think there's a change of philosophy that needs to at least be contemplated. But stop it.
But we're not arguing about that.
Yeah.
I align with you, but in that instance there, don't buy in there. That's not your job there. So I said, know your role, honour your role, and do your role.
Nice.
I think I said that.
I'm not buying it.
Can we have it? So this is the other out of zone that was paid.
Yep. And so there's one thing to pay a free kick, but then you have to communicate to everyone on the ground what it is you've paid. And this is a clear inability to do that in this instance. So if you assume that the free kick is correct, let's just say it's warranted for a second, the free kick is against the Gold Coast. So the free kick has got to go to the GWS Giants, and all the players know that, so they're heading off accordingly. But the umpire points in the wrong direction and then doesn't clean up their mistake when they're communicating to their colleague. So for me, I don't think it requires intervention here, just so you know.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue here is then you fail to communicate effectively and the free kick gets given to the wrong team. Now, there's ramifications for that. OK, you don't get selected, you're out. Those things happen. Yeah.
All right, Gold Stars next week. I'll make sure we get to them.
OK, terrific. Yeah.
Deep in our debate.
Ray
Chamberlain
Don't
raises
you
his
overrule someone on Saturday from there, Ray?
Pointed
as ever from the boundary.
Simo and Horse see you tomorrow to set us up for round 23 and make us smarter at a time of year where the stakes are rising with every game.
Straight away, boys get to each other before anything else.
A lot of love here, isn't there?
Oh, we love love. Yeah. We're romantic, and it's working at the moment.
What'd you say at quarter time?
Oh, I blacked out, Luke.
So he's beat you for highest rated.
Get him off. Get him off.
Is that you yelling at?
Oh, no. The lights have gone out. Is that a new thing that we were meant to be expecting?
The AFL paid the power bill.
Oh, trying to get on camera.
Greedy. Heaney. Didn't know it was coming to me. We'll get you out in the rain, yeah. What about the hardness of you blokes? Fair dinkum.
How good's that? Yeah, chomp. That'd be elite. Thanks, Brownie.
You're not going to give anything to the dog, surely?
Oh, I might give him a bit. He's a good boy.
There's tears. I'll be right. I need to toughen up.
I'm going with you. I reckon we should have gotten up.
Mate, I was thinking the same thing. Look how hard we are, Demo.
It is Chase.
It is Chase.
No face smash for you, Sarah. No, Tom's going to get a face smash.
Some of the good fun that was had across the round on Fox Footy. Simo and Horse here tomorrow night. Gaz, the 360 scramble, Collingwood have locked in their place in the wild card. The position fluctuates.
Yep.
They had a whole set of players who missed, who all trained today. Do they start looking to wild card round and planning now, even though Hawthorn and Brisbane await beforehand?
Jared, they're in the beautiful position to do whatever the hell they like. They've earned the right. They can bring a couple back. They can tell the AFL that they're not quite ready and bring them back for the last round. They can bring them back and play them and then tell the AFL we brought them back a week too early and give them a spell. They might look at the bottom 4 teams of this wild card and work out where they want to play, Jared. So this is the beauty of qualifying early. And they will do exactly what they need to do, and the AFL can sort it out themselves, Jared.
Very nice.
Don't you think?
Plan for your wild card game. The next 2 are dead rubbers.
No, exactly right.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow night. Let's head to the midweek tackle with Lauren Wood.